What's up, everybody? IFBB Pro Seth Feroce coming at you with some leg training, motherfuckers. So, this is a little taste into a different leg training that I did. I wanted to do it this style because everybody knows that they can go in the gym and do squats, do leg presses, do all the basic shit. So I wanted to throw a little different angle at it to give you guys some insight how to get out of a funk, and also how to manipulate your foot placement, the angles of your body, so that you can get the most from a certain exercise, and how to manipulate that so you can work on the outer sweeps of your quads or the inside of your legs, or a certain part of your hamstring. Because at the end of the day, anybody can go and move the fucking weight. But as bodybuilders and as people that want to become better and work into it, if that is your goal, then we want to find out how we can manipulate the movements. Because just because you can squat 405 doesn't mean you have big legs. Or just because you can load up the leg press more than anybody and move the weight doesn't mean that you're actually going to be activating the certain muscle groups that you want. So we're going to throw a little bit of different spin on it, give you guys some education. Fucking right. So starting out, you see me doing lying leg curls and leg extensions. Now with this, I go back and forth. This workout here is mainly going to be quad, outside sweep focus, hamstring, and glute. This is it's going to be pretty intense. It's going to be faster paced, which it's hard to tell from a video whether it's faster paced or not, but I'm taking very short rests in between each set. So with this, what I do here for this warm up, back and forth, leg press, leg curls, leg extensions. One, then the other. One, then the other. One, then the other. You're going to be breathing heavy. You're going to be sweating. That's the point. It's a variation of FST7, fascia stretch training, created by Hani Rambod. The idea is to push blood into your muscle groups as quickly as possible. We want to fill these fucking things up right away. So there's a number of ways to do that. You can do it with heavier weight. You can do it with lighter weight. Heavier weight, you're going to do less reps. Lighter weight, you're going to do more reps. With this, I pyramid up in the weight as I go with the leg curls. That's kind of not quite how FST7 is done, but that's the variation that I'm doing here. I'm just pushing blood into it. So when you're doing any type of leg extension or leg curl, where you place your shins on that leg curl or the leg extension, and whether or not you point your toes or pull them back, is going to hit your quads differently. If you turn your feet out and use the inside part of your shins, whether you keep them, instead of keeping them straight forward, you're going to hit a different part of your quad. So here's some tips for you. If you keep your toes pointed whenever you're doing leg extensions, you're going to start hitting more of the upper quad. Right there, for anybody that's pretty lean or trying to get leaner or getting ready for a show, point your toes when you're doing this, and you're going to start hitting the top of your quad where you really want that separating point at. Whenever you keep your shins straight and keep your toes straight, instead of twisting your quads out, you're going to start hitting the outside of your quad. Whenever you turn your leg out and point your toe out, so that, like for example, whenever I'm doing these, if these one-leggeds here, if I open up my foot, I'm going to hit that teardrop that much harder. I'm going to really focus on squeezing that, okay? So, just some real easy tips. You'll rarely see me point my toes straight up and like kind of pull them back whenever I'm doing leg extensions. I never really feel a reason to do so. I don't feel comfortable doing it. So I might leave just my toes straight like I am here, or whenever I point my toes, like again, upper quads. Now with this, whenever you're doing any type of leg curl, the same exists. You can manipulate this movement. Whenever you widen your feet and you pull, widen your feet and pull, you're going to start hitting the insides of your hamstrings. Closer your feet, you're going to start pulling with the outsides. All right, moving into the leg presses. Right after this, my quads are pumped. They are full. Probably did 5 or 6 sets of leg curls, 5 or 6 sets of extensions, and now we move into this. This exercise that I'm doing here, I am mainly focusing on my outer sweep, hamstrings, and glute tie-in. That is what I am. So my feet are closer together and higher up on the platform. The closer your feet go, the more outside sweep you work. The wider your feet go, the more inside quad you work. If you have a neutral shoulder width apart stance on the platform, think overall quad development. The lower your feet go on the platform, the more quad you work. The higher your feet go on the platform, the more hamstring you add in. So it's still a quad exercise, it's still a leg exercise, but the emphasis is getting placed on such. So with this, my goal, whenever I'm doing leg presses, all I'm envisioning is my side chest and side tricep shots. That's what I'm thinking of. Whenever I'm doing that, you'll see me hit the outsides of my quads as I'm doing this. There it is. And at that point, I'm thinking I want to make sure that's what's activating. That's what I'm hitting. That's what I'm focusing on. Okay? That's force of habit. I've been doing it for, 15 years. But I pyramid up in the weight. And almost go down. That's like sitting on the shitter after you get done doing legs the next day and you're like, oh, I can't fucking do it. But whenever you're doing this exercise, how you're putting the weight on your feet. Are you using the outsides? You push with your heels and the outsides of your feet. Whenever I say that, you're going to push with your heels and the outsides of your feet. That way we're placing even more emphasis on our quads. That's that manipulation of it. People see me doing this exercise and they're like, that's not even a lot of weight. Fuck it. Anybody can move that weight. It's not about just moving the weight. I can push some serious fucking weight, but I want to emphasize exactly certain parts of the leg that I want to hit them to get them to grow. And right here, we're working on sweep, hamstring, and glute tie-in, that side chest and side tricep shot. Right here. Now I pyramided up in the weight, and now my feet are just hanging out up top. This is a variation of occlusion training or blood starving. Occlusion training is whenever you tie something around a certain body part to help rush blood to it after you're done. With this variation, all we're doing is leaving our feet elevated so that blood does not rush to the leg until we stand up. And whenever you do stand up, get ready for a serious rush of blood, and you'll feel them swell up, and it's fucking awesome. But when you're doing this, it is going to burn like hell. My quads right now are on fire. I wait, keep my feet in the air, wait 15, 20 seconds, right back at it. Feet high up on the platform, focusing on the outside quad, the hamstring, and the glutes. Now, like I said, push with the outsides and your heels, the outside of your feet and heels. You will feel a huge difference, and you will now be like, holy shit, I've been doing it not wrong, but just differently. This is a way to add intensity to the workout. Now you stand up, and here comes the blood. You feel it. It's great. It's a different way to add intensity to the workout. Stretch them out, let the blood flow. Now, whenever you're doing any type of legs, we can add weight, we can do squats, we can do leg presses, but what we're trying to do is add intensity to get your legs to grow. And now after this, what I did was, rather than just do occlusion training, I started adding in some slower repetitions to get more of a burn, to feel the quads activate even more, moving at a slower pace. This is in the same workout I just did the occlusion set, or the blood starving set, we'll say. The goal here is intensity, everyone. Whenever you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're feeling the weight, making the connection with your muscle groups. You can see my hamstrings activating whenever I come back. Nice and slow, push with the quads. Come back, nice and slow with the hams, push with the quads. Our focus is getting these muscle groups to activate, not so much just moving the weight, because anyone can move weight. We want these fuckers to grow. So, make sure whenever you're doing this, you can even do this right now during this video. You can just stand there and push with the outsides of your feet, and you're going to feel it different than you would if you just stood there with a flat foot. But there you go. Remember, whenever you come down with the weight, use your hamstrings, push up with the quads. Hamstrings, quads. And the whole time, like I said, outside and heels. That's that side chest shot. That's what we're looking for here. And again, the great thing about this was we didn't have to use these crazy heavy weights. All we did was fill up with the quote unquote pre-exhaustion with the FST7 with the leg extensions and the leg curls, and into this. Nice and slow, up. Nice and slow, up. Great way to add intensity to your workout. Now you can do this with a different foot placement as well. This is just one variation. Like I said, I'm thinking outside sweep, hamstrings. If you were to widen your feet, you'd work more of the overall inside part of your quad. If your feet are higher up on a platform, still working hamstrings. If they were lower, a little bit more quad. There you have it. Nice burn. Feel the shit. That's the great part about all this. All right, now after this, I moved into Smith machine lunges, a variation of it. The whole point here, we want to work the front part of our teardrops, hamstring glute tie-in, and a little bit of the sweep. How we push with our feet is going to play a huge role. Look at them fucking white legs. I don't think you can get any whiter than that. I'm like a fucking ghost. All right, whenever you're doing these, you want to find out where you're going to place your feet and how you're going to push. Whenever I do these, again, I'm focusing on the hamstring and the glute, and you can see that as we're working here. So you want to make sure that you push with your heel. Push with your heel. Me, I'm pushing with the heel and the ball of my toe. Whenever ball of my foot. Whenever I'm doing that, you see the teardrop starting to work right there. Okay, that's the goal. And I'm switching back and forth with feet. 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, switch. 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 and switch. Go instinctive. Go with what you feel. If you're getting too many and you want to lower the reps, add a little bit more fucking weight to it. And then again, if I was to push with the outside of my foot, I'd be working a little bit more sweep. The inside of my foot, look at the teardrop getting worked. That's our goal here. And I think right there is whenever I kind of pulled my hamstring. Fucking dickhead. Which kind of we had to manipulate this workout a little bit. It was intense, but whenever you do something, you just roll with the fucking punches. But on this exercise, on lunges, step-ups, they're great exercise for overall leg development, hamstring incorporation, and also the glute and hamstring tie-in, okay? If I was to take a bigger step, put my foot further out in front of me, I would end up working more of the hamstring and glute tie-in, okay? The closer that my foot is back, my knee is still not going over my toe. If your knee goes over your toe, you have a lot of emphasis. You put a lot of stress on your knee. But keep your knee behind your toe, as is there, and how you put the weight on your foot. Heel, push with the heel. Right there. That's our goal. And again, shorter rest periods between your sets will add intensity. You don't have to move huge, heavy fucking weight to get your legs to grow, because if you've been moving heavy weight and your legs aren't growing, you're falling into the category of ego lifting and wondering why you're not growing. So, switch it up, do some different shit. Train like a girl, like these slut squats here. That's a terrible name. I don't know where I coined that name. It's on the Iron Academy. If anybody's wondering, I call them slut squats because you see a lot of women doing them, and I'm a misogynistic dickhead at times. Which probably some of you have already figured that out. No. With this exercise, we're working the glute hamstring tie-in as well as the insides of our quads. So whenever you open up to do that Dorian Yates style pose, we want to be able to see the inside part of our quad. So there it is. You can see the teardrops getting worked. And whenever you're doing these, you will feel your hamstrings and your glutes. Because whenever I come up and I thrust forward, there it is with the glutes. Thrust forward with it. Thrust forward with it. Okay? We want to incorporate overall leg development with this because we just got done hammering glutes, hamstrings, outside portions of their quads, and we have a ton of blood in there. So we just want to keep it going. And as I'm doing the negatives here, all on them glutes and hamstrings come up with the quads. With this, you'll see people do different variations of this. I'm grabbing the dumbbell straight in the center there because I'm too fucking short to grab the dumbbell from the plates. So I grab it right there, and you can see the hamstrings getting worked. Go down the glutes, thrust forward. Whenever we're thrusting forward, do not forget to feel your glutes from the bottom of your glutes all the way up into your hips, so we can envision all the part of our glutes from the bottom to the top getting worked. And the top of the glutes really don't start getting worked until you come up and thrust forward. After that, let's just work right into some stiff-legged deadlifts with the dumbbells. With this, again, we're working on our hamstrings and the glutes. Whenever I go down, I can feel the hamstrings getting pulled, and when I come up, I go and I feel my glutes. I feel my glutes get worked from the insertion point with the hamstrings all the way up to my hips. That's why you see that almost over-exaggeration that I'm doing a thrusting forward. Shorten the rest periods. Now, you notice I'm not using crazy weight with this, okay? Again, I'm just pushing blood. This is supposed to be a different type of workout for y'all to try so that you can actually feel something other than just moving the heavy weight and you're wondering why your legs aren't growing. Again, just like everything else I'm doing, we're throwing curveballs here and working it into it. Now, as you get stronger and as you get in, yeah, move some more weight. Take this and add it to your workouts and start fiddling with it so you can get what you want out of it. Right back into it. That over-exaggeration. Make sure what I'm doing here is I'm feeling, I'm squeezing, and I feel at the tops of my glutes. That's really where I'm trying to get to. So we're feeling the hamstrings down, come up, squeeze the glutes, that glute and hamstring insertion, and all the way up to the top of our hips with our glutes. Now, a little tip here. Whenever you start shitting the bed, that's because you didn't have enough nutrients, fluids, carbohydrates in you. That's one problem that I see a lot of people have with leg training, is that they don't have enough in them to train. Make sure that you ate that day. Make sure that you're fucking hydrated. Make sure that your supplements are on point. Making sure that you have a carbohydrate pre-workout, intra-workout, post-workout, that is vital. Doesn't have to be 100 grams of carbohydrates. An extra 25 grams of carbohydrates pre-workout can make a huge difference because they're rapid glycogen loaders. Blackstone has Formula 19. All right, after that, we were going to do squats. Squats didn't work out because of that hamstring pull that I had there, being a dickhead. I would typically go right into doing about 5 sets of squats with 315 for as many reps in each set as I could, with 90-second rest in between each set. Rather than that, we just sped up the process here. I went lying hamstrings to leg extensions, one after another, moving the weight. And you can see right there, I'm starting to point my toes a little bit, trying to pull. I feel the quad work from the bottom right by my knee all the way up into the tops of my quads. That's what we're doing here. And I increased the weight and decreased the rest time in between each set. Just went one after another, back and forth, back and forth. Add intensity to the workout and get it going. And that's the fun part of it all. So with legs, make sure you're paying attention to where you're placing your feet, how you're pushing with your feet, pushing with the outsides, pushing with the heels. All that makes a difference. Okay? Pay attention to it all. Take the time to toy with your workouts to get the most. Because if you just continue to do the same workout every single fucking time and get no results, you're going to continue to do the same thing every single time and get no results. Switch it up. Okay? One workout isn't going to make you enormous, just like one workout will not ruin your progress. Okay? The best thing to do is learn. So take this workout, switch it up, try different variations, get outside of your comfort zone, shorten your rest periods, breathe heavy, feel like you're gonna die, and sweat your balls off. Go to work, enjoy this. This is the fucking fun stuff. All right, everybody, go work out, puke, get outside of your comfort zone, enjoy it, make it look like you have to crawl out of the fucking gym. Get to work. Enjoy it, motherfuckers. Damn right.